We've been seeing a lot of talk from news outlets recently saying that Biden should step down. And a lot of these news outlets have been getting dragged online because the consensus is we're all here for Biden. But a lot of the spotlight has been on those networks that are seen as typically more progressive or at least more neutral. But that does not mean that news networks like Fox News have been totally silent either. The big difference with them is that they've been saying that Biden should step down since day one of his presidency, so their messaging hasn't really changed much. So with all of these other news networks calling on Biden to step down, we would obviously expect Fox News to say the same thing. But Fox News has taken it a bit too far. We have a new clip of a Fox News host trying to get a Democratic lawmaker to admit that Biden is not fit to run for office. But his multiple attempts at this failed miserably. But before we take a look at that, I want to mention that Fox News is not the only one who's stooping to this new low, because we have multiple media outlets pestering the White House secretary trying to get her to admit that Biden is not in good health. Just take a look at this clip.
I cannot from here confirm any of that because we have to keep their privacy. I think they would appreciate that too. We have to give them, we have to keep their privacy.
It is public
information. I hear you. Guys, hold on a second. There's no reason to go back and forth and be in this aggressive way.
Missed around here about how information's been shared with the press corps about him.
What do you missed about? What do you missed about?
Everything he just asked about.
And then every time I come back and I answer the question that you guys asked.
Correctly, you didn't have to come back and clean it up.
I never answered the question incorrectly. That is not true. I was asked about a medical exam. I was asked about a physical. That was in the line of question that I answered. And I said, no, he did not have a medical exam, and I still stand by that. Matter of fact, the president still stands by that. He had a verbal check-in. That is something that the president has a couple times a week. A couple times a week.
Now in regards to Dr. Kevin Kennard.
And I am telling you right now that I am not sharing confirming names from here. It is a security reasons. I am not going to do that, Ed. It doesn't matter how hard you push me. It doesn't matter how angry you get with me. I'm not going to confirm a name. It doesn't matter if it's even in the log. I am not going to do that from here. That is not something I am going to do. What I can share with you is that the president has seen a neurologist for his physical 3 times. 3 times. And it is in the reporting that we share a comprehensive reporting. Matter of fact, it's more than what the last guy shared, and it is in line with what George W. Bush did. It's in line with what Obama did. And so it is comprehensive. It is out there. I just read a quote from it, but I am not going to divulge somebody's name or confirm someone. I'm not going to do that. That is as privacy for that person. I'm not going to do that. It doesn't matter how hard you push me. It doesn't matter how angry you get with me from here. I'm just not going to do that. It is inappropriate. It is not acceptable. So I'm not going to do it. I just want to take a step back for a second, because I do take offense to what Ed alluded to. You know, come out here every day. There's a press briefing, and we do our best to give you the information that we have at the time. That's what we do. And we understand that freedom of the press, we respect the freedom of the press. You heard me talk about this last week. I appreciate the back and forth that we all have. I try to respect you, and I hope you try to respect me. And we literally do everything that we can. My team does everything that we can to make sure we get the answers to you. That's what we do. And sometimes we disagree. Sometimes we are not in agreement. But you know what? That's democracy. That is what is important, to have that healthy back and forth. And so to say that I'm holding information or allude to anything else is not unfair. It's really, really unfair. I think people who are watching and have been watching this briefing for this past week could say that we are doing our best in this briefing to provide the information that we have. And I will admit, I will be the first one to admit, sometimes I get it wrong. At least I admit that. At least I admit that. And sometimes I don't have the information. And I will always, always admit that. But I do take offense to what was just happening at the beginning of this briefing. It's not okay.
So it seems like all of the corporate media, including Fox News, which is to be expected, is out for Biden's head. But let's watch this Fox News host fail miserably when he tries to make a Democrat admit that Biden is not fit for office.
That race is a lot closer. So would it be better to put up a different candidate?
The most important polling is Americans' opinions about Donald Trump. He's historically unpopular, and for good reason, because they saw what the disaster of his first term was, and we know that there are Haley voters in the heartland who are desperate to vote for anybody besides Trump, and we have to have a message of law and order to appeal to those voters. I mean, the Republicans are trying to defund the FBI. They're nominating a convicted felon. They're trying to surge machine guns onto our streets and in our schools. This is not a party that respects the rule of law.
Yeah, with respect, Congressman, I mean, I keep asking about Joe Biden. You keep talking about Donald Trump. But there are
because the questions about Joe Biden are questions about who can beat Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is the threat to democracy right now.
Do you really think Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump? Or would Kamala Harris be a better person to do that? Would Gavin Newsom be a better person to do that? Do you think after that debate performance, this is the guy you want running for president?
Every one of those names that you just mentioned could beat Donald Trump. And the reason why is because Donald Trump is unpopular. He's actually probably the most unpopular national politician of modern American history, because voters don't want to see their tax returns have a little partisan affiliation box they have to check next year. They don't want their Social Security checks to come with strings attached. They don't want forced deportations of their friends and their neighbors who are trying to become American citizens. They don't want to see him supplicating himself in front of Vladimir Putin like he did in 2018 in
Right,
Helsinki.
but there are a lot of Democratic and independent voters who want to see somebody with the mental competence to run, and increasingly they don't think that's Joe Biden.
The opinion of Pennsylvanians, of Michigans, of Wisconsinites is absolutely vital. Don't disagree with you there. And that is going to be the challenge ahead of the top of the Democratic ticket, is to make a strong and sharp contrast against what Donald Trump is offering. This is not just about the past and about the record of accomplishments. This is about the future as well. And Democrats have a much more compelling vision of the future than MAGA Republicans do. We want an economy that works for everyone. We don't want this next tax bill to reward the wealthy and the well-connected. We want to defend and enhance U.S. global leadership. And that's going to resonate with voters, but yes, we need strong communicators for it.
I am so sick and tired of all of these clips from media outlets trying to get Biden to step down. We have seen time and time again that he is a good fit to run for office. And all of these blatant attempts by the media are really just pushing their viewership further and further away. I know personally I have lost a lot of respect for the mainstream media because it's so clear that they're trying to all push an agenda here. It seems like they're all working together just trying to get Biden out of the race. But it's not going to work. Biden has been and will continue to be an amazing president, and he knows that we all have his back.